motorcycle is whatever you want to make it. Turn it on, you can give yourself a real thrill.
What's going on, guys? This is Carl with the RacerRed channel, and this is Deadwood Ridge. There's a lot of deadwood around. Apparently a fire came through here not too long ago. Should be heading up to Deadwood Lookout. Kind of getting higher in elevation here, so the soil's getting a little bit better. Hopefully we run into more shaded areas. That's a cool looking rock right there. And if you want to see some wildflowers, come to Idaho, because we've got all different kinds. There are so many different types of flowers here, it's ridiculous. They are everywhere. Those 2021 street legal lightweight dual sports or something else. Well, the 2020 models are something else. So are the 19s. Just motorcycles in general have come a long ways recently. It's crazy. Everything is fuel injected, and the way that they've got the dual sport set up is something that the riders have been asking for a very long time, and I'm surprised it actually didn't come sooner. I think it was just the technology wasn't ready yet, because in order to make a street legal dirt bike, you've got to meet a lot of government regulations. So it's really hard to make a high performance street legal dirt bike. Just crazy how some of these rocks just sit here. Sometimes I'm just not a very good storyteller. Sometimes I'm not a very good story shower either. But I do prefer stories that are shown instead of told. Society runs on everything that is told. And motorcycles cut away those layers and they expose everything. Granted, you can still tell before you ride, but once you're out here, man, the bike pretty much shows everything. I mean, there's no hiding anything. There was a guy once that was basically a teller. I mean, anybody can talk like a used car salesman. So I went riding with that guy, and he could barely stay on two wheels. He couldn't really ride a dirt bike. And even though he claimed to be a stunt guy on a street bike, he couldn't do any stunts. 12 o'clock wheelies were definitely non-existent. And I don't say this to bash that guy. I say this because motorcycles have a way of doing that. And I think that's one of the great things about them, is you come out here and you have to be responsible for your own ride every step of the way. And somebody else climbs up a cliff face, you have to make that choice. Can I do that or can't I? And if you can't, you got to turn yourself back. It's somebody else's fault if you try it and you flip over backwards. So I've always been weary of people who have that mentality of, storytelling. And especially when it's outlandish. Because generally those are the ones that you go out riding with and you're like, oh my gosh, is he gonna survive? It's funny, our nature though, as far as even when we're out here riding. Because what do you do when you fall over and a buddy sees you? The first thing out of your mouth is why you fell over and how it wasn't your fault. I do the exact same thing. I'm not judging. It's just, I think it's funny that our nature really is to just come up with excuses. And I do the exact same thing. Like the first thing I do when I fall over, I'm like, whoa, that was weird. My clutch was just too far out. I need to adjust my clutch. Was there?
I don't know, it was like this much water, but man, it grabbed that front tire.
I didn't see it.
I only felt it, I didn't see it either.
Wanted to show you guys something real quick. Again, this is just my preference. I'm just a dude on the internet that likes riding motorcycles, so take it with a grain of salt. But here's why I like flag guards instead of the wraparound, because the wraparound guards add a little bit to the end. Also, there's been a lot of situations where I hit something and I deflect off of it, instead of, if you had a wraparound, it wouldn't give. Whereas this, if I hit a tree like that, it's just going to give. And yet, if I hit something really hard, it's still going to defend my hand for the most part. So I've hit a couple of rocks sticking out of the sidewalls, and they've worked pretty good for me. Of course, these aren't going to protect your levers quite as well. There's downsides to these as well, but I've only broken, I don't even know if I've broken one lever. I think I broke my clutch lever, but that's about it. Not only are you an exposed nerve out here where you're making contact with everything around you. If you calculate something wrong and hit a boulder with your foot, you're going to break your foot, throw you off the side of the mountain. You hit something at a bad angle, you'll be thrown off the side of the mountain. It requires finesse. There's no brute force. If you don't figure out how to flow with the terrain and have a good rhythm, you're gonna probably smash your leg against something. Probably gonna have just a lot of injuries in general, and sometimes that's just not avoidable anyway. But you're definitely an exposed nerve out here physically, and so for riders who are just starting out, it's pretty impressive, really, when I see riders who just have that tenacity to keep on going and leave your ego at the door. I try to do that still, because there's always somebody who's a better rider, trust me. There's always somebody who can ride better. Definitely good for body, mind, and spirit to have a hobby like this where it pushes you physically, mentally, sometimes emotionally. It makes you uncomfortable a lot. And you have to be precise in uncomfortable situations. When you're out here, there's no way to hide everything that you do. On the bike, you can make it or you can't. You know, sometimes you'll require outside help. Sometimes you won't have that option, so you'll make it happen. But, yeah, that's what I like about riding dirt bikes. Final climb. After this, it's all downhill. After we climb this mountain, it's got about 5 miles to go up here. We'll turn around and then head back down. Right there is a good example of why I like my flat guards. Made a little mistake there. Hit my flat guard and it just bent. Didn't throw me down. Well, this will wear the boots in.
You know, we charge $5 a head to come up and see us.
Oh, do you?
I don't blame you.
Can you put it on my tab? Wood lookout. No idea what the elevation is. Looked like some people rented out the cabin up here, so we're trying not to disturb their privacy too much.
Down the bottom of that drainage, I mean.
Yeah, just right down there.
Woods than this one, and then.
Nice little stream right here. Thought about getting a drink, but I'm almost back to the truck at this point. This has been a really good ride for the time that we had. Anyways, guys, I think this is about the end of the ride. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.